Okay guys, what we got today is the FW Arms decapper and swage backer. I'm going to take these apart and show you a little bit about both of them. We're going to start with the decapper first. So this is the decapper unit right here. It has a guide bushing. I'm telling you guys, this right here is money. This is what makes this, in my opinion, one of the best decappers out there. So it's got this guide bushing. It covers the decapping pin. See, I push it out of the way and the pin comes out, or it gets exposed, I should say. So let me grab a piece of brass. So what I really like is that guide bushing. So I run a 1050. Sometimes the 1050, the brass gets some wobble to it. This guide bushing stops that wobble and gets it lined up. Sometimes other decappers that do not have a guide bushing, they just got that exposed pin. Sometimes it gets some wobble to it and you can actually wobble off to the side and the pin will go on the outside and go down the side of the case, and that's when you break pins. You're usually not actually breaking pins when things are lined up properly. If you have a Bourdained primed case, a proper decapping pin will actually just puncture a new hole and pop that primer out, and the pin will be fine. It's when you get some wobble and the case goes to the side and the pin actually goes down the side, bends the pin, or a case tips on its side and then the pin comes down like this and hits it either on the head or somewhere on the body. That's when you actually break your pins. But this guide bushing, I love it. It's got some wobble, boom, stops it, lines it up, decaps it. So let's take this apart real quick. Well, first off, let me show you. Right here is a fine-tune adjustment. It's an Allen wrench. I'm not sure what size. I'm not going to grab a Allen wrench to tell you guys. You can figure it out. But to take this apart, just grab it and give it a little twist. There's a spring in here, so just be aware. So it comes apart. Got a spring, the main body, the guide bushing. I'm pretty sure this is solid brass. This will last you a lifetime. This is a good heavy piece. And you got the top body, and I'm pretty sure this is all brass too. You can see this top cap unscrews, and it's what holds the actual decapper rod itself. And here's the pin. The pins are replaceable. Pins are an 8x32 thread pitch, so if you know of any other pins out there with that same thread pitch, they will fit. But these pins that he makes, they are a very nice quality. So he's even got some flat sides on it for a little wrench if you need to tighten it up. But that's the pin. The rod assembly, and like I said, it's got a little Allen wrench. It goes right there, and you can fine tune this rod up and down in this cap. And he makes all this stuff in-house, guys. He makes every piece. He's got some photos. He's making these nuts. He's making the die. He's making everything. So to put this back together, guide bushing, spring. Put that back on. The top assembly. Put the rod back in there. Tighten down the cap. Just put it all back together. It's nice knurling too. Snug her down. He's got some other cool stuff, guys. Go check out his Instagram. He does a lot of stuff for these are all his own dies that he makes in-house. He does have some cool stuff for the annealer. He's got a case feeder for that he's come out with. He's got some like spotting scope stands and camera stands. He's got some really cool stuff, so go over and check out his stuff. But then the Swage backer comes apart the exact same way. They're basically all the same pieces except for that Swage foot. Except for this Swage foot here. So this is his original setup. He just came out with this tapered Swage foot. Sometimes when you're running an auto press with this flat one, I guess you can run the chance. It's a nice fit. You could run the chance of catching that neck right in the side and damaging it. So with an auto press, some guys were needing this tapered rod, so there's really no chance of it catching that neck. There's not a flat edge on it to catch. You know, the point of it slightly flattened, but I've been running this flat one for quite a while. I've ran several 5-gallon buckets of 223 brass, and I've had zero issues with this flat one. So I'm going to continue to run this flat one. So the only difference between this rod assembly is the decapper has the Allen head adjustment. The Swage backer, it does not. You can just basically loosen up this cap, then you can grab the Allen wrench, or you can loosen up this cap and grab the rod itself and move it in or out, tighten it down, and it goes together the exact same way. So these pieces are all the same. Nice solid piece of brass on this guide bushing. And this guide bushing, tighten it up, just give her a little snugging down. It's good to go. So let's take both of these, put them on the 1050, and I'll show you them in action. Okay, we're going to install the FW Arms decapper into the 1050. So first thing I do is I bring the tool head all the way down. I install the decapper so that the guide bushing gets retracted and the pin is just barely under the shell plate. That's where I start. pretty sure right there we're gonna be good. So let's try a piece. So we got some Hornady brass here. It's got the primer still in it. Okay, see that one was decapped. That one's decapped. For me, that's as easy as it gets. If you need to, I didn't have to do any other tweaking than that. If you need to, you can refer back to that Allen head adjustment to fine tune it, or just move the whole die body up just slightly up and down to get it set right where you need. I got lucky and it ended up perfectly adjusted for me. So next I'm going to install the Swage backer. This one's a little more tricky. So what I have done is I've taken a case, 223 in this case instance, and I have modified it. I've cut it so that it exposes the side of the primer pocket. That way I can put it in the 1050 and see the actual Swage rod in gauge and see how far up and down it is in the primer pocket. Then I adjust the foot so it's got some pressure down on it. So let's take this down, and the Swage die is right where I want it. No pressure from the foot yet. Right there we've started to engage. I back it up just a little bit and I start just fine tuning it from there. So we'll try, actually let's get one. These are not crimp primer pockets. Let's get some cases that are. Okay, so these do have a crimp in it. Let's decap one. Okay, it's been decapped. I do have this fancy little tool that checks your primer pocket. So it's got a go and a no-go gauge. So the go gauge is if it's, oh, right off the bat we're adjusted right where we needed. So that shows that the primer pocket, the crimp has been removed. So we're good to go. The no-go on this tool is if it's too loose, if it's been over crimped, over swaged. And you see that that does not go in there. So go gauge goes in. We are actually set. So there's nothing else I need to do on this. So I'm going to tighten these down. And that's as easy as it is to set these up. I think I probably got a little lucky on both of those, but so this has been the FW Arms Decapper and Swage backer die review. Go check them out, guys. FWArms.com